little town, and we feel like we helped contribute to saving it. I will say that we had, I want to tell you the owl story. Can I tell you the, oh. Okay.
So, what I want to get down to is, tell me how stressful it can be working with family at bed and breakfast. I want you to talk about, how you work well, or how it's, often stressful. Working with your sister, working together as a couple. I mean, you guys work well together. You guys ever consistent?
Oh, okay.
Tell me about the drama that goes on.
I would say probably everyone will agree that I have a vision and I have a level of excellence that I demand of myself, and so I ask it of other people. I try to understand, but I'm going to say I'm somewhat of a tyrant, and so when it comes to trying to do what's best for the inn and best for the guest is what inherently I can't help but be. I'm a perfectionist, and I'm a micromanagement person. I get involved in everything from dust to donuts. So I'd say I'm incorrigible. And so anyone who works with me, especially family, I try to be patient. For me, I think I'm patient. If you were to ask them, they would very definitely disagree, because I'm a bit intolerant of things that are not up to a certain quality that I anticipate. And that's true not only of family, but with family you have to be a little bit more diplomatic, and I'm not always diplomatic. I'm always in a hurry.
Well, in little towns like this, everybody knows everybody else's business, of course. We only have about 2,000 people in this town. It varies from season to season. But they all know each other. They all know who they are, what they're doing. And when Lynn showed up here, they had never met a woman like this before. A woman who was dynamic, hardworking, intelligent, talented, and they didn't quite know how to accept her. It took a while to get accepted. And
I'm not sure I'm still to this day accepted.
Now she's been chosen as a new member of the Planning and Zoning Board.
That's true.
She gets involved in a lot of things now that she couldn't have done when she first came here, because she was a different kind of woman. They had never seen a woman like this with this kind of talent, brains, and hard work.
See, I was born in this little...
Who's the bossy one?
Who's the bossy one?
In our family? Certainly isn't me. I don't know who it is, but it's not me.
You take a more laid-back approach than Linda.
His Gentleman Bill.
Oh, I do. Yeah, that's my nickname is Gentleman Bill. That says it all.
He uses me to do his dirty work, because he'll tell me behind the scenes, I wish I'm little, and then I'm the one that has to actually either say it to someone or get it done somehow. So everybody loves Bill because he is so diplomatic. But behind the scenes, he's telling me, and I'm the one that gets stuck with the dirty work. So
well, I actually was a sort of a diplomat for about 11 years. I was a consul of Finland for South Florida for 11 years, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. In fact, I did such a great job, if I may say so, that the president of Finland knighted me, and that made me Sir William, and it made Lynn Lady Lynn. So every now and then we drag these things out to show off.
But I'm definitely behind the scene, the hostess with the mostest, getting the job done. So. And I'm the one that has to fight with the vendors to make sure that we're getting the best prices and that they haven't taken advantage of us, especially with workmen, because they see the beautiful inn and their prices suddenly double what they would charge anyone else. And that's taxes and bed tax and luxury tax and everything else. Whatever it is, they view us as, don't worry, they can afford it. In the meantime, we're sweating blood, sweat, tears, bullets to make this thing happen and to keep it thriving. And it's constant. at least in our businesses, we used to travel all over the world. We'd be doing all kinds of exotic things. We'd be on different timetables and frames, and we'd come back exhausted and not being able to sleep. But when we came back, you had your time off. Here, an inn is open 24/7. Well, it's always 3 in the morning of the weekend that the air conditioner breaks, or that the toilet stops flowing, or that as the toilet overflows and leaks down on someone else's head, or as they mentioned, suddenly we have bats coming through the fireplaces, and it just 24/7. That is not something I'm used to.
Now tell me about this. I want to know this question. Is the fact that it's haunted and that you know, it's 24/7 and it's crazy, does the fact that it's haunted ever come down in the stress? Like you ever go and move things and you just in the middle of the day where you're in the weeds and you just, you know, and I really don't think it's supposed to be haunted right now.
I think, well, we should have known better, because the first day we came in the house, which was all boarded up, hadn't had any electricity or any kind of living activity for many, many years. And there was dust and dirt everywhere, fireplaces pulled out of the wall. We had to climb over furniture. We had to climb up. The stairs had been rotted into the house with flashlights. And we're going through the house, Bill and I, with flashlights. And we're each going in our own direction, but it's totally black because every window, every opening has plywood on it. Oh, he goes in one end of the house, I go in the other, and this is when I encounter this most incredible, strange plastic owl sitting in Mr. Coombs' bathroom. And as I look closer and closer with my flashlight, I'm saying, ooh, what big eyes you have. Ooh, what big talons you have, and how sharp they look. And it wasn't plastic at all. It was an actual snowy owl, 6-foot wings spread, and it attacked me, and I went running out of the bathroom, screaming and screeching. It was screeching and screaming. Bill was yelling, what's going on? I'm running through the house. He's running after me. Flashlights hitting the ceiling. We run into the back room, which had been burned with a fire, because it still is in its condition from 1911. And open up the window and let the owl out, and that was a struggle because the window hadn't been open in 80 years. And the owl flies out, and there's another owl in there circling around, screeching and yelling. It goes out. We both close the window. We say, oh, thank God, because they were beautiful white snowy owls. And then we hear, and there were 6 babies in the floorboards of the burnt floor from the kitchen that had come up the 2nd floor. And they were in there. So, of course, we opened the window, forced open the window again, and a few days later, the owl family left. And that's the owl family that is attributed to the owls that live close to the house, that they really never left. And, of course, we have a plaque, which we had a ghost group that came here with all the paranormal equipment and cameras and sound equipment, and they officially designated us as a ghost home, and we have had several experiences, but Mr. and Mrs. Coombs are really very, very happy with us, and we know that they're content ghosts. And so this is Mr. Coombs, and he has his foot on an alligator and his arm on an alligator with a derby hat, quite a dandy, which is why Sir William has his hat on today. So in the tradition of Coombs, and he was quite a character.
Now, Mr. and Mrs. Coombs, by the way, have never really left the place because they are buried in this wonderful old cemetery right across the street. They're buried side by side, and we feel like they've never really left. They're keeping an eye on the place even now.
So we have an oil painting attributed to be Mrs. Coombs upstairs, and the day we bought it, we put it in the rear of the car, and an umbrella popped open and poked through her face. So we think that that was at a time when she wasn't quite sure whether we would be allowed to continue our work here.
So do they ever play tricks on you? Do they ever do anything
Yeah, I think lots of things. When we were having that hurricane, a storm a few years ago, Mr. Coombs appeared at the glass door and kind of gave us a warning to board up. And Scott looked on the computer and found that a storm 40 years before that had come through town, and it was to the date of this storm and the warning of Mr. Coombs to board up the windows and the doors. Every door that we have has a large glass window in it. In fact, the main door of the inn is extra wide because the coffins were placed in the parlor as a wake, and the door was wide enough for the coffin to enter and be placed here before burial across the street.
Yeah, exactly.
We've had customers who swear that they put their clothing on one set of chairs, and then they woke in the morning to either find them hanging in the closet or hidden in the bathroom. We have had girls especially experience Mr. Coombs, particularly if they're young and attractive. People have smelled perfume from Mrs. Coombs as she passes by. Little tricks have been played on us, like the Christmas ornaments exploding and light bulbs in the chandeliers exploding if there was an argument going on or a discussion that was particularly negative. Those types of things go on all the time.
I must add that we get guests at the Coombs Inn literally from all over the world. Lynn and I both speak fluent Spanish. I also speak fluent French. I went to university in France. And we get guests from all over Europe who come here, and they come here because they say, we want to come see what the real Florida looks like. Not Orlando, not Miami, but the real Florida. And they do find it here, there's no question about it.
We're the Forgotten Coast, we're pristine, we're Florida as it used to be. It's all very natural. Lots of fishing boats, oysters and shrimp. It's very charming.
What about the employees? Do they have some working experience with the ghosts?
You know, the employees, oh yes, they have had, I hate to tell their stories, thinking that they're capable of telling their own, but, well, for example, we have a couple of occasions where some of the cleaning ladies have heard children laughing and giggling and apparently playing ball up on the second floor. And this is not just once, but I guess they've heard that several times now.
In fact, there's a painting on the second floor that was done by an artist, and it shows the inn with it all boarded up. Very mysteriously, one of the plywood panels of the window is pulled aside, and if you look carefully, you'll see the ghost of Mrs. Coombs peering through a second floor window.
And we asked the artist where she got that idea. That somebody, he said, I paint what I see. That's what I saw.
And we give ghost reenactment of Mr. and Mrs. Coombs every year at Halloween. In fact, that was last night. And Mrs. Coombs, me, comes down the stairs in a long black velvet cape with a candle under my chin, and I'm screaming about the fire which has consumed the house and me with smoke, and I faint when I get to the bottom of the stairs. Of course, we turn out all the lights before I descend the staircase, and I do my face with pasty makeup and dark bags under my eyes, and they get a big kick out of that.
You know,